good. How's everything?
It's good. I'll introduce you to Wilson. Wilson, come back and show your face now.
Hi, Wilson.
Yeah, you brought the beer.
Hello, Wilson.
How you
Wilson?
doing, Jimmy?
Good.
Can you
Good
hear
to
me?
meet you, Wilson.
Yeah,
Okay, you just
Good to
fine.
meet you too.
yeah,
I
you're.
see some of your stuff. You're quite the botanist.
Yeah, I hear you're interested in growing things. Do you garden already?
Actually, what I'm interested in is utilizing what it is that this is all about, so that people can create their own enterprise, and we can all come together in under Flat Earth and show people how to do this
Oh,
to
that's
benefit.
too. That's my dream too, Wilson.
So, have you been like considering on manufacturing a device that that you can either say ship to people, you could sell it to them, or at these conventions you can like produce them and package so people can actually do this at home?
Are you talking about like microgreens or growing inside of your house, that kind of thing?
Yes, yes.
Much about that. I just have grow lights and shelves. I keep it real simple. I use soil. I don't do aquaponics. The water is too much money to get, too much startup cost, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
But and rainwater and grow lights in the winter. But no, tell me what you're thinking though.
Well, what I was thinking is that where everybody's starting this convention, and it probably won't be until the next convention because this is pretty much like a preliminary. But you can start putting into production to like make this accessible, not just so that you can like help other people, but in line. Say like you would have a year to like put things together, and then all of a sudden you can come into one of the conventions and you'd be like, look guys, this is my presentation. Easily put together this small thing in your home that you can probably collapse or do whatever. I mean, it means you having an income and being able to like what you're doing, and then everybody in the community be able to do the same thing. Later on, we know that your expertise is needed for problem solving, getting the bugs out, that sort of thing.
Sure.
It becomes self-sufficient.
That's cool. Have you ever heard of permaculture?
No.
Okay, it's like a permanent culture, and without gardens, revolutions don't have to have a garden if we're gonna have a revolution. You know. So it's all about permanent agriculture and permanent culture. I'll send you some links later.
Okay, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome.
So
Another
wait a
thing
minute.
too.
1 minute. Wilson, one minute. Jimmy, explain to Wilson what you're doing then.
Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm eating a salad right now. This leaf right here is a pea microgreen, and it's 2 weeks old. It takes 2 weeks to grow this. And I sell these. Take a premium on selling these because they're more valuable. You have to use a lot of seeds.
Do you grow anything that's high in protein?
Spinach and sunflower microgreens. High in protein, yes.
Awesome.
Too,
Awesome.
yeah. And radishes. Mostly microgreens.
Did you ever consider making your own drink?
I have. It takes a lot of energy to juice them. I hear that the wheatgrass is good for like a green smoothie. But no, do you know anything about that?
Well, I mean, this is the idea. This is why I wanted to talk to you so that we can get some talks going about this. I mean, it's marketable if you say like you have the flat earth drink. Right?
Yeah.
High in protein and has different kinds of vegetables with nutrients, all natural stuff. People are getting scared about the stuff that they're eating. And you're...
Absolutely.
Well, I figure with all the FDA and etc. institutes, it's hard to actually sell food as without actually all the so-called rules to sign for.
Now, you see, this is where Dave and this is where Santos comes in. We start learning the legal ramifications, how to get around these sorts of things, then we won't be able to be stopped. Free trade and health should be a high priority.
At actually a level of sharing the knowledge that you actually know what ingredients you need to have a certain sense of a smoothie. In smoothie itself, you're sort of giving away the recipe.
Yeah.
Because it's not the knowledge for what you actually need for your body to survive in that sense, to have actually food.
All right, so just to bring you on board with what I'm thinking, let's say we involve Jimmy here, and then we involve, like you were talking about, the money, the new money system. We get talking to Santos, and we start coming up with something very solid that can't stop those things from happening, right? Because obviously it would be good for everybody to know how to do some botany, but there's not so many people like Jimmy. Jimmy likes doing these things. Yeah. He enjoys doing these things. Yeah. You know, I mean, he's the guy that would have a big, huge farm, and that would be his heaven. Yeah. All right, I'm happy. I'm doing this every day.
Absolutely.
Or are you using a tent? I'm not sure.
He lives with his vegetables.
Kind of.
Well, in a few years' time, this is going to be a forum. This is going to be, what is it? It's going to be the juncture for what it means to change the world. Because that's essentially what Flat Earth is about, changing the world. And everything that's in it written on paper does not control us.
Right.
We give the power to the FDA. We give the power to the government. Yeah. We give the power to the leaders. They don't take it. They don't own it.
We give it.
Whatever paper they have is just as good as any firewood or toilet paper on the planet. It doesn't make any difference what's written on it. Learning what it means to be human and what it means to be a person, then we'll actually start accomplishing something. And that's a big thing.
That is a big thing. I agree, Wilson. Decentralization is the key. We have to decentralize, especially our health. We can't have these big centralized companies, whatever, flat earthers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but we have to decentralize food.
Jimmy, you're like a key component. I mean, the first thing that you would go in, if you were stuck in the woods, the first thing you'd have to do is find food. Then you find shelter. You might need shelter, food when you're in there, then you're going to leave your shelter to find some food. So you find food, then you find shelter, and then you find warmth. So, I mean, that's key. It's a key component. So being able to accommodate what that means in Flat Earth, that would be a very large stepping stone to saying that we can actually keep this going and make it possible, because people are going to be afraid. Oh, so like if I give up these rights or if I give up those rights of the written paper, then I'm not going to be able to live because I won't be able to eat. And if you pay attention to the things that are being said when people think about this doomsday crap, the first thing that gets mentioned is that how everybody has a sign on their forehead and their hand that they can't buy food, they can't shop, so they're going to starve. What happens if the people don't starve? When they don't starve, everybody's like, oh, well, screw all that crap. I'm going to go and live natural and be okay. I don't have to do this stuff. I'm not saying it's easy. Like, I'm just saying it. But I'm not saying that it's easy. It's impossible.
Yeah, it is necessary, and it is the only solution.
How long have you been doing it,
sorry.
Jimmy? Jimmy, how long have you been doing this?
This is my 5th year farming now. And I just took a permaculture design course, which cost $1,200. Videos of permaculture. It's very amazing.
Could you just talk a little bit more into the microphone, Jimmy, when you're talking? That's bad.
Yeah. About 5 years now is, well, this is my 6th year farming, actually.
And where does your vegetables go?
I sell them at the market now in a couple of different restaurants. I sell the microgreens at the restaurants and stuff, and mostly the farmers market right now. So, but my goal is to make it like the knowledge. I want the knowledge to be out there so people can be independent and say "fuck you" to the system, basically.
Exactly.
Microgreens are the future. They're the future of food. Like, you can plant a tray of pea microgreens, and they will grow back 3 times. You can cut them 3 different times. All you have to do is water them. You don't even need direct sunlight. You can put them in your window. Anybody can do this.
Yeah.
It's simple.
My parents have also developed a special method to convert any green cellular materials back into the basic material as the pure humus for the food for the garden. The ingredient is cow manure, because there's this particular micro of breaking down the grasses. That particular bacteria you need to actually drain your grasses or wood or anything from the land. Every green stuff from the land you can convert. First you need to dry it and then drain it in the water mixed with the cow manure. Drip it out. Reuse the moist again. And then put everything together. My parents use a cube bag, and as much as a cube they put together, and then they close it off to keep it sealed. And 3-4 months later, it's pure compost. The first thing they do is just lay it on the bottom of a pot, and then use older used ground on top of it, grow there once a plant on, and then it's really ready for the garden.
Did you hear what Jimmy said, though, Ceres? All he does is put the earth and pour water on them, and they grow.
Yeah, that's the green part of, but you need also the food for the plants.
In the composting bit. You're talking about
the
that
compost
bit.
itself.
Yeah, you're talking about that bit.
What my parents have developed, even in such small way. First, they had a complete company ready for the public, but at that point they were blocked by the bank and bought out by the competition. Yeah. And they lost the company because of it, because the product was just too pure, too yeah, it's just nobody got this level of plant food for that time as well. And well, at some point they had the idea to develop it in a smaller way and just put it on YouTube. I can send you the website even. Yeah, you really have to see this. Compost block.
It's probably better to
send an example.
It's probably better to send the link on Messenger, Ceres. Send it to Jimmy and Wilson on Messenger, because it comes up so quick. Well, send it on Messenger.
Yeah, well, you can open and I will put it in the hangout chat as well. There you will find the information about the particular compost stuff.
Okay, everybody here is familiar with Michael Tellinger, correct?
No, who's that?
He's actually a very brilliant human being. He came into the flat Earth stuff much later than a lot of other people, like Santos Bonacci did. But highly intelligent. He's been doing research in all different fields now. Everybody's been trendy part. They don't know that Michael Tellinger, a couple of years back, did a video full how to destroy debt. Promissory note, and by giving them conditions that you have to write down in order to do this. Now, if you want to break away from the creditors, if you want to break away from the people that are causing you problems with money or whatever, to know how to do these promissory notes and destroy the creditors is exactly how to do it. Now, I wanted to bring you in here so that I can introduce the idea to everybody, to the group. And Ceres and Karen are doing most of the facilitating of the group. I'm just gathering ideas and make sure people know about them. Michael Tellinger to come and explain to everybody how he paid for his home, how he got rid of debt. Well, how to do that in this community, that is going to ease up a lot of minds, free up a lot of time, and start getting people's anxiety way down, and then we can start introducing these as valid ideas.
Is he the South African guy, Wilson? Well, the African guy.
What?
Is he this an African guy, a white African guy? Is that who you're talking?
Yep.
He's the one that was talking about the pyramids in Africa. Thanks, Ceres.
Yeah, he talks about the pyramids and all these other things. But one of his earliest videos, a lot of people were hounding him on how to do this promissory note because he got rid of all of these problems with a promissory note. Something that was written in the promissory note in the terms and conditions which relinquished the value of the promissory note of the user upon it. And the way he wrote it and the way he set it up and the way he taught people made it possible for anybody who wanted to stick it to the creditors and consolidate everything under one bank to send it to the bank, and the bank would actually have to come to your home to get the money. If not, and if they traded the liquidatable asset, which was the promissory note, that all of the agreement herein would be terminated, which means if it's $250,000, then $250,000 is now terminated from your debt. It's gone. It's no longer there for you to pay. That is what he did first. That's why Michael Tellinger, to me, is so important and so intrinsic to this movement.
That's
Santos Bonacci is... Sorry?
Be a cornerstone for this movement. Go ahead.
Yes. So Santos Bonacci has been studying law. He's been studying what it means to be a person. A person is a persona. It's an identity. It's not a real thing. It's a dead entity. Is that people would start understanding how laws work. Then the people who are in charge or says they're in charge can't hide behind the words. They can't hide behind the truth. Has anybody ever heard the term hiding in the light? That's what they do. They hide everything in plain sight so that you can see it.
Yeah.
And they say, well, you can see it. You can go and look for it. This is legal. This thing is perfectly legal and within our rights to do. But we're not implementing it. Everybody wants to talk about flat Earth, but nobody wants to make it all the actual reality that we are substantial on the flat Earth. I am not required to do anything but eat, sleep, and shit. Sorry to be vulgar.
Thank you, Wilson. Sorry?
You're a bit slowing down now.
Sorry, Jimmy, what did you say?
That was great, Wilson. That was inspiring. I'm 30 grand in debt, student loans. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they they didn't have the money to lend me to begin with. So that's where I'm going to fight them on that. They didn't have the money to lend me. They're $1 trillion in debt. How are they going to lend me money?
They lent so much in your name? How
Yeah,
about
30,000.
Well, that's your money to begin with.
Student.
They need your signature to actually make that happen. If they're going to get you to like do anything with that, then you have to sign the loan. You have to like validate it.
Could I just say
You're
that,
the corporation.
Jimmy, since you stuck your headphones in, we've got a bit of feedback.
Oh, okay, I'll unplug them.
That's better, sorry. Just speak a little bit, when you're talking, just sit a bit closer to the microphone. Carry on then, sorry.
Continue, please.
Okay, so you have an identification which gives you citizenship. Therefore, your name, which is usually written in dog Latin, large letters, all capitals, is a corporation under whatever citizenship which you are a part of. That citizenship basically means that you are a corporation. Whatever money that is within the corporation is corporation, and therefore you are intrinsic to the corporation. So if the whole place is worth $1 billion, and you extract every single human being and give them each a percentage, that's what every human being is worth within the corporation.
Okay.
They have to loan you the money. But they make these rules up and they make it look like they don't have to do these things for you. But think about where the money comes from in the first place. I remember one of my friends yesterday coming up to me and saying, "Did you see the new 10s?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "The new 10s that they got out, the $10 bills." I'm like, well, you see what I'm talking about? They printed that. So if they could print that, they could print another bunch tomorrow, and they keep printing it. They can print it every single day if they wanted to. Long, and they can have billions and billions and trillions of dollars. A bunch of crap anyway. It's all a bunch of crap.
And 99.9999% is digital anyway. This is where this whole cryptocurrency is one thing. It's so threatening that the idea of the Illuminati is actually thinking about destroying it. But the only thing I simply destroy it is by a complete EMP all over the world, because you need to destroy the whole world's computer systems. Because
when you think about it, Ceres, doing something like that, you're basically going after the power of the people that we're saying is like causing wars and doing all this stuff in the first place. Because the money isn't about the money. Power and who controls it.
Try to mint it. Try to mint is where to undermine with the whole cryptocurrency. That's completely anarchistic currencies. And it's the prediction that the Bitcoin is about $2,500 today, but
so this is a good reason for you to talk to Michael Tellinger, because legally we can make money. We can make up our own money. We can build it.
Oh, absolutely.
The funny thing is the administrative part of it is completely worldwide spread, and the whole world has to agree. In that sense, that you can have your on a USB stick, they can take your wallet, but they can't access it because they need your passwords for it. They can extrapolate your password maybe, but they have to know first that you have the wallet. 10,000 euros getting over the border is a big problem, because that they can actually take from you. But when you do it through Bitcoins, you'll have a wallet with you, and you can do your transaction anywhere, as long there are companies to actually as a valid currency to pay with. And more companies are actually going into the Bitcoin because they're very where the value of it is enormously growing in that sense. It completely brings up the rest of the digital currency up as well as a value. And you'll see that the bank currencies are becoming worthless. The currencies.
So my idea here today, just to put it out there, like, is to bring people on board in this situation, in this format, that are good at what they do, they like doing what they do, and they want to see this kind of a community grow.
Absolutely.
Is to find somebody who knows, who has an interest in words, has an interest in law. And this person, this man or woman, would now be learning about how law works, and then how to utilize it, how to be knowledgeable in how they work the words in the system. And then you need somebody who wants to do something with values and trade systems, so that you start building a society and have it be a free society, and start getting people who are simply interested. Like, you would have people under you, and then you would mentor. You would mentor over these people. You know what I mean? Like, you would be a leader in the community. Say, if you want to learn about botany and like take care of your people, then who do you go to? You go to Jimi. Jimi teaches you what to do. He's the one that knows it. He's the one that understands it. He's the one that'll bring you where you need to be. And then you have these other people that are true and real leaders of the community, because they're actually providing something to the community so that it can exist.
I'm going to give you a tour.
What?
He's going to give a tour.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Continue, please.
What we're here doing, we're either doing pop culture so that everybody can trend, or we're actually affecting real change and making something happen for real. And I'm pretty sure that everybody wants to own their own life and wants to do their own thing. Answer to this stuff. Imagine if, being educated, somebody told you, we're not going to give you tests, we're just going to make sure you know every bit of the information that you need to know, and when you feel ready to test, talk to you about it. Creating anxiety. So we're not creating obstacles, so that we're actually teaching people how to overcome things and have the knowledge to do it in the first place. I imagine terrified of made it into a rat race. Just, they're terrified of going towards something that's really good that they like, because something else makes them more money. That's what it all boils down to. How do you break these guidelines and create a society that people can actually say, I want to be a part of that? Really, really cool and exciting to me. That sounds like something worth living for. You have a beautiful farm. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
I'd love to be there just for the horses. I love horses. They're so cool.
Right here. Say hi, Cody.
Hey, Cody.
Roxy.
You're so gorgeous. Oh, they're beautiful.
They know where that sweet food's at.
Horses are like the coolest creatures ever. They're the most loyal,
Yeah.
and they're so intelligent.
Or composting.
They're cool.
So how much?
For yourself and produce the pure compost.
How much land do you have then, Jimi?
I don't think he heard you.
Yeah. Jimi, how much land do you have?
About 2.5 acres now.
Wow.
Okay, so imagine if Jimi had a dozen people wanting to do exactly what he's doing. And what if Jimi had the ability to facilitate the growth operation to make these things possible. What if we actually started helping to facilitate these sorts of things and implement a plan to where we can have free society, doing free things, where we're actually helping save people's lives and feeding people in the world so that they're free to do the things that they want to do.
Yeah, you can actually run a kind of learning camp. They're actually learning it in the practice.
So, like, what are they signing? What's going on? Are they doing it because they want to, or is there some money to be made? Like, what's the reasoning behind this? And really, I'm talking about a forum for us, Earth Society, and give people to actually become things that they want to be.
Jimmy, show us some of your vegetables. Show us some of your vegetables.
All right, some of a little embarrassing right now, but got some spinach. Hold on.
Oh, I see. We're looking at them. I thought that was grass. We were looking at the vegetables.
This is daikon radish. It's the easiest thing to plant ever. It's beautiful. The butterflies love it. Great pollinator. These are your cherry tomatoes.
I love cherry tomatoes.
Sun sugar. I plant them every foot, and I just let them grow as a bush. No staking up, nothing. Just let them grow. Radish are very, very good.
Biological gardening. Need room for the in that sense.
You see, first when I started doing what I do, I started giving hints because I look into a lot of things and I give hints here and there about, things that are going on. If it makes sense, I research it and I find out if it's valid. If it's valid, it's useful. If it's useful, it's worth telling somebody about. There's no time for it anymore. Like, I'm trying to step it up a notch because if Flat Earth gets as big as it's going to get, being a threat, they need to start attacking us. They've been ignoring us. Everybody thinks that Flat Earth is getting all this acclaim from the government and from what else. The president mentioned it like 3 times and then he moved on. And then Trump came in. He is a perfect distraction for us to do what we're doing while he's doing whatever the hell he's doing because the whole world's watching him. Pretty soon that'll change. This will become so big that it become a threat to these mainstream areas that do not want to see free energy happen. They've after killing quite a few people to stop being put out.
What's that, Wilson? Sorry, what's that, Jimmy? Oh, carrots.
Carrot?
I'm going to try this one with an idea from
garlic.
What is his name?
Alan.
Yeah.
Alan gave you the
An
idea.
idea from Alan.
Yeah.
The resonators with even a crystal with 3 resonators. You can even add more power to the system. So this becomes the transformer becomes a sort of water container and power container. In a sense, through the frequency of the, I actually add energy to the reservoir, and that's more energy than I actually put into it. So I can actually use the reservoir to reload the battery itself. And that's an internal circuit. And I can even add more transformers behind as more reservoirs, and that I can even build it up to completely power a home from a 6-volt battery.
Well done, Ceres. Another little thing on the go then, Ceres. So, Jimmy, can I just ask you, how much how much land are you growing on? How many, like, quarter of the land's got vegetables on?
This is the length of it from there to the carpet. Then through all that, you can see.
Whoa.
Salad greens mostly. I need to do a lot of weeding, but it's mostly salad greens, yeah. I'll show you. Butternut salad. And then spinach. Beets and radishes. This is full of radishes. It's all radish. I'll show you the microgreens. And here's the spinach. Wilson, do you like spinach? I think that's got
I love it.
protein in it. Here's a baby spinach for you, buddy. Here's a bite for you.
Oh.
One of my favorites, red Russian kale. This is the high
Oh,
producing.
kale is really good for you.
Yes, it is. Look.
It's good for getting rid of toxins and I heard parasites.
Yeah, that's true.
To be honest with you, I ate it raw for like a month. After that, for some reason, well, for that reason, I felt pretty good, like psychologically, the whole 9 yards.
Did you? That's awesome.
I seen this before. I don't know if you guys can see that very well.
We can only see your picture's not there, Wilson. Lady with the
Okay, well, imagine a container. You got rainwater going down into it. It's got 2 leads on either side going down to drip water from. The water drips through 2 metal buckets. The metal buckets have no bottom. As it passes through the metal buckets and goes down into another container, that container has electrodes coming off of it, coming to a center. Now, what happens when the water passes through each bucket is it does something with it does something in the air, but it creates an electrical current. So you can actually build this with a few materials sitting around in your house and do the same thing. I also have another design put
right there, Ceres,
where you could take the bottom of a washer. It has a large wheel that has all of the copper fittings, and you can rewire the copper fittings and put a turbine to it, and it can power your house. You can take the alternators out of you can take a car, and if there's a water source nearby, or if you put a generator where like the water falls down, fills up a bucket, and then fills that back up again, and turns the turbine, then the alternator from your car can power your house. Power your entire house from a car.
yeah, Ceres.
That's true. Yeah.
Sorry, Jimmy, what have you been showing us?
These are the microgreens. I thought I'd glance over them for you. This is what the future of food is right here. This is going to sustain us.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
What were the white things then? Just a minute ago, he showed us like little white things. They look like little white things, loads of them. What were they then?
That is the peas. Those are the peas over there, just germinated favorites. Sunflowers.
The man with the green hands.
You know, Jimmy, I used to cook in a restaurant, seen the video of you with your vegetables you were selling at a market, I knew.
Oh yeah.
I knew you had good vegetables. I knew you took good care of them because I'm so used to seeing vegetables come in, and it takes no time for vegetables to start going bad, start getting brown and start dying away, parasites or whatever. You had a really good product and you cared about what you were doing. So I was like, if anybody was going to understand what I'm talking about and listen to it and get a feeling for this, it would definitely be you.
Ooh, that's a good picture.
I'm 100% that. Were you a chef?
No, not a chef. I just worked a restaurant. I was just a line cook.
Right, me too. Red Lobster and all that.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a place in Newfoundland used to be called My Brother's Place, and I worked there.
Nice. Here's a salad greens here, if you're interested.
I think that people should be eating only vegetables, to be honest with you. If you can find a way to cut out like all that other stuff.
It's chard up here. People don't grow enough Swiss chard. You ever had Swiss chard before?
Probably in a salad pack. Maybe in a salad pack.
It's the same family as the beets. Yeah, salad pack. The same family as the beets. All right. These peppers here, we overwintered these because peppers are a perennial, actually. You can keep them in the basement.
Oh, they look like the greens that grow around, those greens, they look like the greens that grow around Newfoundland everywhere.
Really? Nice. This was sunflowers. I just harvested this for the market. Made about 140 bucks off sunflowers.
Not bad.
Yeah. Pretty weedy around, so I'm kind of embarrassed showing it off, but there's a lot of food here. I wish you were here. I could show you better. Onion?
No, you should be proud of what you've accomplished anyway. Like, you're creating things, you're making things that are real. This is a tangible. You're
done,
talking
Jimmy.
or doing this or doing that. You're actually building life, and you're making things sustainable.
Anybody can do this, exactly.
Yeah, but they're not Jimmy. They're not Jimmy, but you are.
What's that?
I said, but they're not, and you are.
Well, we gotta make it sexy, I guess.
So how many different vegetables have you got then, and salad, and the micro? How many have you got? Different varieties and stuff, or do you not know?
For the salad spring mix, I've got about 7 different varieties right now. About 8 coming in now, so. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we just planted, I don't know if you can tell, there's like 4 different trenches. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
This is what the blackberry bush looks like when it's in bloom. Pink. There's blackberries there. Real easy to propagate. You just cut the stick, you stick it right in the soil and keep it moist for a week. And it grows roots. That's about all, guys. Thanks for watching.
It's really good.
No, it's absolutely wonderful.
So it's
Oh yeah.
Is it all outside, Jimmy?
I'll show you the orchard too.
Is it all outside, or do you have stuff in greenhouses?
in the basement. I could show you that too.
What were you going to show us?
Orchard.
I forgot to show you some fruit trees. The orchard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is the best part. I don't know how I skipped this part. All right,
Yeah.
I'll flip it around. Mulberries in season right now. It's kind of nice. Can you see them?
Yeah.
All right. And this is a good survival crop, Wilson. Everyone would be interested in. It's called a Jerusalem artichoke. It's out in the woods.
Nice. Nice.
With squash out there. And
what happened to the video feed?
Yeah.
I'm having trouble seeing it now.
I can see it okay, Wilson.
Sure.
Is the video still up?
Yeah.
I lost the video.
You see it? Okay.
You'll have to watch the hangout then.
Send some pictures. Send some pictures. It's so
Okay.
awesome.
Very good. Yeah.
So basically, we need to like have more talks. Convention is not going to be about that, but I mean, who's to say that Jimi can't show up at a convention if it happens, and have some product, have some stuff with him, like, hey guys, I made this drink, I'd like you to try it, blah blah blah. V8 makes a drink with fruit and vegetables.
Sounds great.
Right?
So this is an ancient watering technique. Right now we're at the top of the highest part of elevation of the orchard. So wood chips, mulch comes through these rocks, and the hot sun gets real hot, and then the shade under here makes condensation. So we catch dew out and we put it down into the soil, and it moves through the mycelium network of the fungi, which I put the wood chips down for it, and that gets into the system of the entire orchard. Because once the orchard is attached to the, you're good. Your trees are good.
So what?
Can you see it?
It's irrigating itself. It's irrigating itself.
Absolutely, it's a ancient kind of humidity irrigator. It catches humidity out of the air, the rocks, and it drips down at the bottom from the cool rocks in the back, the north side.
Oh, that's beautiful. Awesome. I can see it now, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I need more rocks, but this is it. This is the
I
gist
think
of
you've
it.
got a new name now. It's called Jimi Natural.
Yeah.
Right there, right on. Right away. Honeycrisp apple, pear tree, peach tree,
Yeah.
plum tree.
Have
I think
you
I'm enjoying this a little too much.
have you planted a lot of this yourself, or was it there when you got there?
Well, I planted all this myself.
You know what is so cool about the whole thing to me is that everybody looks so hard at scientists and say blah, 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 blah. But they don't create, do they? They break it down, they break it apart, they smash it into tiny, tell you what it is, and you make it.
Exactly.
Like, you make it. It doesn't matter if you
Are
know
they
how
sweet
it's made.
peas?
You make it.
Are they sweet peas?
Absolutely love it.
Sorry,
The
sorry,
sweet
Wilson.
peas.
Sweet peas.
I wish I had 2 hectares. I think I would imagine some things to do, yeah. Damn.
I think Ceres probably have a whole field full of marijuana grown.
We need-
For example.
We-
too.
We need a plot of land. We need Alan for the free energy. We need Jimmy for the vegetables. Create our own community.
Also,
I'm telling you, it'll come together. There needs to be people who are actually willing and desirable to like see this come into fruition. I mean,
Absolutely. Prayer being answered. Conversation.
good.
and then with a glass fiber internet.
Hey Wilson, can
And
I ask you something?
actually-
Wilson, do you still have daylight, Wilson?
It's starting to get dark in a little. Well, it's just starting to get dark. Like, it's not as bright. You know that it's going to be dark soon.
Can I just say one thing that's just very interesting that Jimmy brought up? It's nothing to do with this hangout, and I appreciate that, Wilson, you wanted to talk to Jimmy about vegetables and doing things different. But Jimmy, just explain your thing about the moon.
Yes. The moon?
Yeah, what you told me about the moon.
Oh yeah. Make a parabolic mirror out of a cable dish network kind of thing, and reflect the moon onto water, and like freeze bodies of water, because it'll multiply the cold of it.
Now that's awesome. Have you actually tried this, or?
No, I haven't yet, sir, but I'm still working on it. I'm just super busy planting and harvesting right now.
No, that's cool. I know if you use one of those.
Somewhere, I've seen a video with somebody doing this with the sun and actually burning something.
Yeah, a safety blanket they use.
Do the same with the moon. I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy brought this up a few months ago. I did mention it to you, Ceres. I think he sort of mentioned it a little bit on one of the hangouts. But
We
I
can
don't.
call it the flat Earth freeze ray.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. 300 freezer.
See, he's got some good ideas, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's great.
And the thing is that
Yeah,
nobody's
well,
really done
well,
anything
right.
with the moon, have they? No one's done anything much. It's all done, I suppose. But
Exactly. Yeah,
Did you
exactly.
say that you make bamboo?
Yeah, I'm growing bamboo here. Here's a little shoot.
Oh, wow.
The big.
I hope you have a whole thicket on the go. That'd be so cool. Bamboo is
Dude.
extremely useful.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm glad. It's so underrated.
And it grows really fast.
Yeah.
The Chinese still use it when they're doing buildings to make scaffolding.
Nice. That makes sense. In hurricane houses and high weather storm houses. Yep.
So awesome.
Are you familiar with goji berries?
Nope.
Okay. Well, here's the
I'm
goji berries. They're very,
I'm learning a
very
lot of
healthy.
things today.
Just showing you the whole enchilada here.
No, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for wanting to be interested.
Well, I mean, the amount of things that's on Earth that's actually good are unnoticed by people. Looking at the screens, and you're actually watching.
and he's
the Earth grow.
organic. He's organic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Instead of digital.
These guys are. I am. I'm beyond organic.
So where do you want us to go then, Wilson? To talk again with Jimmy?
Well, the idea is to see how much of this stuff we can put together. You've after facilitating quite a bit, and you have to see everybody has a job. Karen, so far you've done really, really good at your job. So the idea is to get our hands on Michael Tellinger and really push him, because he has information that's important, that's pertinent.
What, are you asking me to write to him somehow then?
Well, it's not simply just to, like, right now he's on this big old kick because he's got all this freedom, but I mean, he knows how to set you free, Santos Bonacci, so they have the responsibility to step in and start helping other people to become these things. And since we are of the mind that we want society, then they're the people that should be coming in and showing us what to do to become that. Like Jimmy there, Jimmy's doing his part. I mean, look at what he's doing. He's actually adding to the earth. He's adding to the earth. How many people could say they're adding to the earth?
And feeding.
Right? So,
And adding and feeding.
Is that a Toyota Celica?
Del Sol, Honda.
Oh man, I thought it was a Toyota Celica. Then I was gonna say, but yeah, that's a nice little car.
Got a banana in there. I'm gonna eat that for dinner.
I love bananas. Oh man.
So anyways, yeah. We gotta
I don't
get
know how
that
much
one
work I'd get done if I was there. I'd probably be eating a lot. You've absolutely done a wonderful job. You've done a wonderful job.
So what is it you want with Jimmy then? Now you've seen his vegetables.
What's that?
Well, I kind of had a feeling that Jimmy was doing a lot. I didn't have any idea how much he was doing. Now that I know that it's right to want to talk to him. Like it seemed to me, even by watching Jimmy, looking at the vegetables, easy for him, an easy decision. It was just a matter of getting it all to happen. That once we start talking about it, now it's an idea. Can't stop an idea, baby. That's it.
Do you like what
And the
Wilson
idea
said,
is
Jimmy?
that we are going to be free.
Jimmy, do you like what Wilson
Free
said?
people.
Absolutely. He's all about true freedom, and I couldn't agree more.
We were meant to be that way. Be that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
You know what? I know that my voice is my authority for myself. Now, a lot of people don't get what I mean when I say that, but when I speak authority, not some word that somebody else wrote down in a book and not a bunch of other crap. Once we start thinking like that, we know that I speak for myself. And if you don't like it, you can disagree, and I agree that you have the right to do so, but I'm going to still talk. Bottom line.
we know you are, Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy, we want Wilson to do his hangout because he's a bit like a philosopher now and a teacher. So he's got so much to say. We want to do a hangout or a couple of hangouts with him so that people can ask him questions. A Wilson evening. But what is it now? What is it? What is
That
it?
sounds weird to me, but I don't know. I'll do it. I don't care.
What is it you want with Jimmy then now? Just to talk to him, to know that he's a person growing, or is it you want to do some project with him or something?
I want Jimmy to continue doing what he's doing, part of the community. See Jimmy get the support that he actually needs and deserves.
Aww.
So this community has to start looking at Jimmy in a very different light. Jewelry grows. Even his jewelry grows.
Do you want to see it get bigger, Jimmy? Do you have people helping you, or do you do all that yourself?
I'm solo. Just my father. I live with my father.
So the thing to figure out is we're trying to figure out a convention. The thing that I propose is that we figure out a way to get our hands on some land. We need lots of food. It's going to need to be facilitated for people who want to learn different things. these different education processes to know how the system works so that we can keep the system off our back. Now, if a free society knows how the system works and how these rules are applied, then we can use fire to fight fire. We can take their rules and push them back against and say, listen, you guys fuck off. You can't tell us what to do.
Exactly.
So what you're saying to Jimmy is, Jimmy, you go to the market, the other things he does, but really maybe he should try and go and take his work to a convention. His food to a convention.
Maybe we should learn more about the Amish.
They're close. Yeah, they're out here. They're everywhere.
I got 2 Ceres on my phone.
My other one crashed.
Oh, Ceres. Sorry, I didn't notice you gone. You're being quiet. Ceres was being quiet.
No wonder his head was just like in one spot for the whole time. I was like, he's not saying nothing.
Yeah, it's good that you're UK, Wilson, because we sometimes get such a problem with your internet, but it's good today. Oh, everybody's frozen. Everybody's frozen.
Get real people out of the woodwork. There's a whole bunch of people trending, but there are people out there genuinely want to do something. They want to go out and they want to be a part of the world and they want to affect some real change. Those are the people that you're looking for. People like Jimi deserve to be a leader because Jimi doesn't take advantage. Because Jimi isn't a power-hungry person. Because Jimi isn't the type of man that will take something from you, he'd rather give it to you. So he should be in charge of something like that. He should be the one that everybody has to go to because he will make sure that the demands are fed, that the needs are taken care of.
The leaders are those in front of the wagon, those horses in front of the wagon, not those horses at the back of the wagon.
Exactly. I've always said that. I love that you said that. The leader stands at the back of the line because he's making sure that everybody else is okay.
Well, he's pulling the wagon. He's the horse in front of the wagon, not the horse in the back of the wagon. He's not in the throne who is actually on the wagon. With him, and that's the leader.
Jimmy had to go though.
Yeah.
Did you talk about what you wanted then, Wilson? Like talking to Jimmy then, did you get the information you wanted, like, or not? What, like?
Well, the thing is that an idea can live past everything else. Everybody talks about evil people, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. It's not true. There was an idea that was formulated many, many, many years ago. That idea stayed true, and that's why you get more evil people coming. If you create an evil idea, then a person will come along and they'll be like, I like that. And then they go along with it. So this money system, the society system, it's an idea, and the idea has been upheld. That's why I tell people there's no evil entity sitting behind the Masons, behind the Illuminati. It's the entity itself. It's the idea of the thing that gives life to the thing. So if I generate an idea of truth, of love, of unity, of people actually making an effort when they're looking at each other, they're like, you know something? I would rather help my brother than take what he has.
Oh, Wilson, you're so... Wilson, you're lovely, you are. So Ceres is lovely as well. Could I just say, because I love you guys. Can I just say, because we were recording that, and that was about growing vegetables and trying to work out other ways to get people like Jimmy in other places and for people to realise they could do it. We've been going for an hour just for that part. We've kind of finished that now. Shall I stop the recording and then carry on chatting?
I suppose.
Okay.
I suppose, yeah.
Bye, everybody. Big hugs. Ceres is not going to give me a hug, Ceres. Ceres, give us a yay. Wilson. I know Wilson's giving a hug. Thank you for watching, everybody. Do you see that we're going to change things? We're going to hopefully change the way people think.
I didn't even know I was being recorded. And I was like.
I know, but I think we're going to probably talk about other things now, and it will move along. Whereas we were sticking to a future of different growing, people getting back to growing things themselves and sustaining themselves a bit more. So we've kind of concluded that now, haven't we? Because Jimmy's gone, and Wilson, you'll talk about other things.
I would say one last thing if we're still being recorded.
Yeah, go for it.
Everybody who's out there that wants to do this with Flat Earth, you can't just trend. You got to start forgetting about all this stuff that you see as an idea, because it's telling you what to do. And you're using what you're being told what to do, how to fight what to do. So it's a loaded question. About everybody and understanding that the human beings that you're facing are facing the same things, even if it's the Globers that you say are causing you problems. They're not causing you problems. The problem's in their head, and you need to help them. So anybody out there that feels like they're able to make a change, you're obligated to make that change. You're the one that's changing the future. So forget about half of this nonsense in this fight. It's the same thing as before.
You've given me given me the tag thing I'm going to put on this. I'm going to put something like "Stop trending, start doing." Jimi Organic with Wilson Conductor.
Oh, I love trains. Trains are awesome.
Not everybody.
I'd be a conductor.
And what I should say.
Get your idea, but just carry it out. It's yours.
I should say
yes.
Free Anarchy.
Ideas don't belong to anybody.
Ceres Free Anarchy. That's what I should call you.
You know, the powers that be, they're only the powers because they're utilizing the same system, the very same system that everything is funded on. And people just don't know. They don't know. And a person, if somebody by themselves, a human being, does. And they know, and they want to do something. They just don't know how. I mean, I don't really know how, but I'm trying.
Yeah, Wilson, 20 years ago, even in the UK, and that doesn't mean people in the UK don't have vegetable patches, but there was often a whole place for vegetable patches. They've probably been sold off for houses now. But even 10, 15, 20 years, everybody was growing something, generation was growing something in their garden. Now we just go to the supermarket and buy it.
Yeah.
For this Wilson, for this hangout, should we just end this and then you can carry on talking to your heart's content?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
I love all you people.
Yay, we all do. Me and Ceres love everybody. And this is to be continued. These are talks to start changing the way we do things and doing it for ourselves. Anyway, thank you, everybody.